before in Jacksonville, Florida for an arraignment hearing. 24-year-old Rakeem Mitchner is accused of kidnapping and 2 counts of sexual battery. 4.5 years earlier, a woman riding her bicycle through the 5 Points neighborhood of Jacksonville was attacked by 3 men, dragged behind a building, and raped. DNA evidence collected did not match up with any existing offenders, and police had no other leads. The case went cold for 4 years until a national database matched the DNA samples to 20-year-old Stanley Armitage, who had recently pled guilty to home invasion in Oregon. When questioned about the Jacksonville sex assault, Armitage confessed and implicated 2 other men, Mitchner and 19-year-old Martin King. Armitage and King were both charged and held without bond. Mitchner was charged, but was already in prison for an armed robbery he committed in Jacksonville a year after the raid. Today, Mitchner is appearing before Judge Charles Coffer for a routine arraignment. But things take a turn when Mitchner suddenly lashes out. Mitchner begins yelling, "Leave," repeatedly at the judge. Leave! Leave! Mitchner's own lawyer seems surprised and a bit confused by his client's reaction. Leave! 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 After then yelling at the bailiffs, Mitchner's time in front of the judge is over. Leave! 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 Bailiffs forcibly remove him from the court and put him in a holding room as Mitchner continues to shout. Leave! Get out! Get out! Later, Mitchner was declared not competent to stand trial and placed in a mental health care facility. After treatment, his prosecution resumed. 6.5 years after the rape, Mitchner pled guilty and was sentenced to 25 years in prison and 10 years of sex offender probation. Stanley Armitage also pled guilty and was sentenced to 23 years in prison and 10 years of sex offender probation. Martin King took a plea deal and was sentenced to 7 years in prison for aggravated battery. He was released in 2020. Next, we head to Sydney, Ohio for an arraignment. The defendant, Gregory Russell, is charged with assault, vandalism, and criminal damage. A day before, the 36-year-old had a standoff with police lasting 6 hours. The incident stemmed from a dispute Russell had with his live-in girlfriend, who left before police arrived. The defendant was armed with a knife and threw household items, including paint cans, at the officers. Russell was arrested, and thankfully no one was hurt. Today, he's being represented by Heath Hedgeman, a public defender. But as Russell waits to see the judge, he becomes agitated when a local reporter takes his photograph. Then, as he stands just a few feet from his attorney, Russell does this. Russell attacks his attorney with a shot to the back of the head, sending him to the floor. The beating continues until Hedgeman gets some help from a bailiff, a member of the Sydney police, and even an employee from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. The men are unable to subdue Russell as they slam into the podium. The scuffle lasts less than a minute, but it takes the entire group to restrain Russell at the prosecutor's table. He's eventually removed from court while his attorney receives medical treatment. Hedgeman suffered only minor injuries, but his days of representing Russell are over as he removed himself from the case. The defendant was later hit with a slew of new charges, and his bond was set at $500,000. After getting a new lawyer, Russell pled guilty to 2 assault charges, intimidating an attorney and harassment with bodily fluids. His original charges were dismissed. But as part of his plea deal, he was sentenced to 60 months in prison, plus 3 years probation for the new charges.
You will be held accountable.
You got it. Okay. All right, we're all set. Thank you.
You'll be held accountable.
Next, we head to Ann Arbor, Michigan for an arraignment. 56-year-old Jeffrey Bloom has been charged with domestic violence. He appears before Magistrate James Cameron.
Might I have your name, please?
Jeffrey Bloom.
All right, Mr. Bloom. We're here today on a felony complaint. You're entitled to be represented by counsel. If you cannot afford an attorney, the court will appoint one for you. Do you wish me to do that?
Yes, sir. I don't know why I'm being arraigned without having an attorney anyway.
This is the first opportunity that you've got to have the court to appoint an attorney for you. That's why.
So this isn't an arraignment?
Yes, this is an arraignment on a felony complaint.
Aren't I supposed to have an attorney present during my arraignment?
Yes, you are, if you want one. If you can't afford an attorney, the court will appoint one for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
The question to you is, do you want me to do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now we're cooking. Now you have an attorney.
Now that public defender Silvana Reed is assigned to the case, the judge can finish going over the complaint as well as Bloom's potential bond.
This is a misdemeanor punishable by 93 days in jail and/or a fine of $500. However, this is a third offense. So now that it's a third offense, it gets moved up to a felony, which is punishable by up to 5 years and/or $5,000 in fines.
Not only is this Bloom's third domestic violence offense, he's also already on probation for another separate assault charge. Reed is seeking a low cash bond and credit for time already served. But State Prosecutor Jessica Blanche is asking for no bond.
Judge, this defendant has a highly assaultive criminal history. I believe he's a threat to the community, so I'm asking you to deny bond. Thank you.
The judge does not order Bloom be held without bond, but he doesn't go easy on him either.
Now, bond is set at $200,000 cash for surety.
What?
I believe he does pose a risk to the community. He has a significant assaultive history.
Wow.
Bloom is clearly unhappy with the judge's decision, so he begins to argue the facts of the case.
There was never a dating relationship here.
This is not the place to argue your case.
Okay.
This is an arraignment. You tell it to the judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
But it doesn't take long before he's at it again.
Okay.
There was no dating relationship. There was no. I didn't.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Mr. Bloom, let me talk. Okay. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting there for a long time.
One more thing, Your Honor, and I'll be quiet. I'll go back. I'll do whatever you say.
Okay, it's your case. Go ahead.
I didn't commit a crime here. She called me.
Don't talk about the facts of the case.
Okay, well, this needs to be said.
I know, but you do not need to say it right now. I advise you to.
Because Reed is trying to.
Reed tries to get Bloom to stop talking so that he doesn't say something potentially incriminating. She is unsuccessful.
I need to say this, Your Honor.
Well, you don't need to say this. Anything you say right now can and will be used against you in trial.
That's fine. I don't care. I don't care. She needs help.
As things wrap up, Bloom has a parting shot for the judge.
You will be held accountable.
You got it. Okay. All right, we're all set. Thank you.
You'll be held accountable. You'll be held accountable.
See ya. Good luck, Ms. Reed.
Thank you.
Bloom remains in custody, and his case is pending. Next, we head to Shelton, Washington for an arraignment. 34-year-old Richard Smith has been charged with driving with a suspended license.
Mr. Smith was charged as a misdemeanor and is punishable by 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine.
Presiding Judge George Steele then reviews the defendant's rights.
You have the right to be represented by a lawyer, and if you cannot afford a lawyer, you have the right to have one appointed for you at no expense.
A standard procedure during an arraignment. But Smith, who's appearing today without a lawyer, has got questions.
Did you have any question about those rights?
Kind of, yes. Corpus delicti in this case is kind of funky, being the state of Washington. It seems to be me to be a fictitious plaintiff. In a sense, I can't subpoena a plaintiff that doesn't exist as a person.
Okay, we're going to talk about a couple things first, because what you're saying is gibberish. You don't even know what corpus delicti is.
Corpus delicti produce the victim.
No, that's not what it means.
Definitions here.
Here's the situation. I'm gathering that sounds to me like you might be kind of dabbling in the sovereign citizen stuff.
No.
Sure sounds like it.
The sovereign citizen stuff that Judge Steele mentioned refers to tactics employed by individuals who somehow believe the law is illegitimate and answer only to their own interpretation of it.
Here's how it works. Pay close attention. Simply because the fact there's no, quote, identifiable victim doesn't mean that behavior is not a crime.
The judge decides to schedule another hearing, since the ticketing officer did not provide enough information in his report. The defendant simply needs to sign a document agreeing to return.
I might be penalized if I don't sign.
I'll have you thrown in jail if you don't. Does that sound like a penalty? Don't challenge the authority of the court.
Smith eventually complies, signing the release, but he adds a line about being under duress, which irritates Judge Steele.
Let me see it.
Proceeding under duress.
Reprint the order.
The judge rejects Smith's amendment to the order and has a second one printed, identical to the original.
Sign the order. Just your name, nothing else.
I can't. That's.
Just sign the order. You're ordered to do so. If you don't, it's contempt of court. You're not under duress, but you are under court order to sign the order.
Smith signs the new copy of the order, but defies the judge and once again adds his claims of duress.
Have a seat. You're in contempt of court.
Okay.
The maximum penalty for contempt of court is 30 days in jail and a $500 fine.
I'd sign it with my rights reserved.
Signing this does not take anything away from you, sir, as far as your rights.
Why do I have to sign it then?
Because I just told you to, because it gives you notice when your next court date is.
I'm gonna sign the order, and then
You're going to sign your name and nothing else. Anything else, you're going to jail.
Smith complies, and Judge Steele purges the contempt charge. Before things wrap up, the judge has a final word of advice for Smith.
My suggestion to you would be that you should probably spend some time having a brief consultation or a longer consultation with a lawyer.
that's pretty much a waste of my time.
Sit down. I purged the one contempt. I don't need any editorial comment on your part that this is a waste of your time. I don't care if you can believe it. And outside this court, you can say anything you want. You can tell everybody I'm the devil. I don't care. You have a right to speak. Don't say a word. But inside this court, you're going to show respect for the court. That means when you're directed to do something in the court, you're going to do it. You're free to leave.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Smith failed to appear at his next hearing. There is currently a warrant out for his arrest. Next, we're in Lansing, Michigan for an arraignment. 67-year-old Giannia Ballerini has been charged with 2 counts of assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer. A day earlier, Ballerini was at a local shopping center when she had a run-in with an officer. When she refused to cooperate, she was arrested. Today, Ballerini appears before Judge Stacia Buchanan to hear if she'll make bond. But things get off to a rocky start.
Are you Giannia Ballerini?
Oh no, my name is Kulhum bin Laden Mohammed Al Saud.
Oh, I don't have you here, and I don't have a file for you.
Yeah, they're confused. My name is Kulhum bin Laden Mohammed Al Saud.
There appears to be some confusion about the defendant's name.
Your Honor, you have the right file. I have the right file? Yes, ma'am.
Well, you got the wrong person. And I said, call my husband, Crown Prince Mohammed Al Saud from Saudi Arabia.
The defendant is claiming to be the wife of Saudi Arabia's prince, 37-year-old Mohammed Al Saud. Judge Buchanan continues with the hearing.
So I'm going to read you the complaint. This says that you did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Officer Erica Halfman, a police officer of the Lansing Police Department that you knew or had reason to know was performing her duties. That's a felony punishable by that's a felony punishable by 2 years in prison and or $2,000. And that counts 2 years.
Arrested me. K9. That's the one that complained. I didn't attack him.
You can't yell over me. It's my turn to speak. You're here now, and you've been arrested, and my job is to read you the charges.
My job is to tell you. You don't belong here.
Actually, that isn't your job. That's not your job.
I'm the prince. That's all.
Nope, that's not your job.
I don't know nothing.
This person is dangerously close to just being in contempt for saying bitch to the judge. You want to keep going?
The defendant remains quiet, and the judge moves on to the subject of representation.
Do you want a public defender to assist you in this case so that you can explain your side of it?
Yeah, I'm male. Not a female with glasses and I would be at school maybe a month. I'm male.
You don't get the right to request the gender of the lawyer who assists you. That's ridiculous.
Call my husband, period. The Crown Prince that runs Saudi Arabia. And I'm Arabian, not American. So you don't own me, you understand?
Do you have a local address where you can receive mail?
Crown Prince, Saudi Arabia. Look it up. No. We don't give it away on the internet.
Ms. Schroeder, anything you want to add so that I can make the bond decision today?
Based on the lack of criminal record, I'd ask for a PR bond, but we need local information. That's all, for contact.
My husband, Mohammed, he runs Arabia, Saudi Arabia, the one you got oil for, free oil. That one, that dude, you idiot.
If the court's inclined to keep her in custody, I would ask that she be seen by psychiatric services. Thank you.
From now on, I'm going to shut up. Don't you say a word. I don't know nothing.
Okay, based on the conversation here today, I don't believe this defendant's going to appear for any future court dates. I have real concerns about the combative nature of what our discussion has been. So bond will be set at $10,000 cash surety.
Ballerini did not make bond and remains in custody. Her case is pending as she undergoes a mental health evaluation. We're in Longview, Washington for an arraignment. 38-year-old Christopher Belvoir has been charged with resisting arrest and disorderly conduct. Several hours earlier, Belvoir was arrested for wandering around a YMCA at 4 o'clock in the morning. Police were called to the scene, and after the defendant failed to cooperate, he was arrested. At the time, Belvoir was free on a personal recognizance bond for assault and other charges. His bust at the Y was a violation of his bond conditions. Today, he appears remotely before Judge Edward Putka. And right off the bat, things get off to a rocky start.
There are 2 charges here, resisting arrest and disorderly conduct.
Hey, can I tell you something, sir?
Just a minute.
I didn't do either one of those things, sir. Okay. So your charges and your officers is outrageous.
Mr. Belvoir, if you keep talking like that, I'm going to send you in the back, no bail, and we're going to come back to you tomorrow.
All I was doing was trespassing at YMCA.
Mr. Belvoir, one more time. You're using obscenity in this courtroom, and I'm going to put you in the back. You're not going to get out of jail. Just listen.
I want my lawyer present right now.
Okay, just listen up.
Desmond Cloaky, I'm not going to listen to you with a bunch of fake charges.
Okay, just take it easy. Okay, calm down.
Okay, go ahead. Read out the fake charges, sir.
All right, so the charges are resisting arrest and disorderly conduct.
They're both lies.
Okay. The maximum penalty for this is 90 days in jail and fines and costs of $2,050. Do you understand what you're charging?
Yes, sir.
The judge goes on to explain the defendant's rights before turning to defense attorney Oleg Balaban.
I find probable cause for the charges. Do you want to enter not guilty, please, on his behalf, then, Mr. Balaban?
Yes, Your Honor. Plead not guilty.
Judge Putka asked the state for its bond recommendation.
The city is recommending $1,000 bail. The problem is he's got other pending cases between July and today, and he was presumably released on recognizance on those cases on condition that he stay out of trouble.
That $1,000 bail in your court, in your system, is f***ing kangaroo court. Excuse my language.
The judge remains calm as the defendant continues to argue.
Sir, look, I'd like to change judges or whatever the hell. This guy is biased against me, and if you guys keep me in jail for something I did not do, the police assaulted me after I was walking away peacefully.
You want to talk about bail? Mr. Balaban?
Yes, Your Honor. I just suggest we set for a pretrial at this point.
All right, I'm going to set the pretrial on October 6th at 10 a.m. Mr. Belvoir, your behavior convinces me that you need to stay in jail.
Sir, I would like to make you not my judge and my behavior in court. Guess what? I got my ass whooped by your little bitch ass officer.
The bail is $2,000 cash. $2,000.
Oh, you're not getting me any bail.
After setting the bond at $2,000, Judge Putka sets a date for a pretrial hearing.
October 6th. That's all.
Listen to me. I have the right to change my judge. You guys hold me in jail. It's time to make a suit, sir. Yeah, this is the officer right here. That's like the
You heard me. You guys are all
Belvoir failed to post bond and eventually pled guilty to all charges, including his earlier assault charge. He was sentenced to a total of 24 days in jail.